Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Ayana Grace, and today I am going to be showing you step-by-step easy hacks on doing your makeup in a way that it looks like it's professionally done. Okay, so we're giving you the best tricks and tips for long-lasting makeup, for flawless airbrush, ombre lips, bomb ass eyeshadow looks, all that. So y'all stay tuned for the rest of the video if you would like to know how to do this. Okay guys, so I am just going to give you a fair warning. I don't know what is happening in the apartment next door to me or above me or whatever. I don't know what's happening, but it's some type of construction that has been driving me purely insane. But I've been trying to wait it out, like, for the perfect time to record a video to avoid the noise, and they're literally here all day. I don't know if you can hear it. So if you hear the construction in the background, I am so sorry. I'm going to try to push through this, talk loud enough, I don't know, do what I got to do to make sure y'all can see this video, okay? So, to start off, the only thing that I did do off camera was my brows. I do have a brow video already in my channel if you want to check it out, but I think I may do a separate brow video like in the future. We don't know. But this is the only thing that I'm not going to be doing on camera. I'm sorry guys, but the brows is like a whole nother story. So, just my first tip and everything to start off with, your base is always the most important thing. I don't know where my moisturizer is, but I did not bring it in here. But I do use the Fenty Skin moisturizer with the SPF in it. Always, whether you have oily skin, whether you have dry skin, whether you have combination skin, always put a moisturizer on before you put your primer. Some people, if you have drier skin, you can use your your moisturizer as your primer. But moisturizer should always be a first step. Even if you don't wash your face, which I would not recommend. I would say always use moisturizer first. So the next thing is your primer. So the primer I'm going to be using today is the Makeup Revolution Pore Blur Primer. This is actually very inexpensive. I think it was maybe like $6 or $8 at Ulta. I really do like it. It is kind of reminds me of the Benefit Professionals primer, but just a little bit less harsh. If you have oily skin or combination skin, I will always suggest doing a mattifying or a blurring primer, because it's not going to stop you from getting greasy and getting oily, but it's going to stop your makeup from looking like really gross and all that good stuff. This primer, because it's not so harsh and it's not super drying, it's okay for dry skin too, I would believe. But a blurring primer is always like my go-to, because it just makes your foundation look very smooth and just kind of airbrush look. And that's like what we're going for, right? So, yeah. Primer on top of moisturizer. I like to get a little generous with my primer, but you know, you don't have to. You can be conservative. So, if I'm not, like, doing something like a crazy bold makeup look, I also just take that primer and, like, rub it into my lids, just to give me a nice base for my lids. But, so just like what I was saying, like, you can always tell if how drying or how mattifying it is based off of the white cast that you get. So I do have a primer like the Benefit primer, and I have another primer that is like a mattifying primer, and it always gives you like a really, really, really bad white cast. So be aware of that. This one says blur, so it doesn't say mattifying, and it feels like it just blurs. It's like very smooth, but it's not drying. So yeah, we're gonna get past that because Ayana can talk about primer all day long. Okay, so my next step, and this is definitely a beginner friendly tip. I just never got the hang of baking, so I really like stopped, and I just used to just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna, if my shit creases, it creases. Well, not anymore. Tip. So what I would do is I would take a skin tone color setting powder, and I usually use a heavier setting powder for this tip, and the one that I'm using is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Instant Retouch Setting powder. It is a lot heavier than like I would like, so I don't really set my face with this, but what I do is on top of my primer, I take it and I set those areas that are usually like get really oily or crease easily. So what I do is I take a beauty blender and I just tap it into my setting powder, and then maybe like blow it or dust it off. And so what adding the powder under your foundation does is that it still gives you that same coverage. It still gives you, it kind of helps you like not crease, for your makeup not to move, but it's not so overbearing on top of it if you don't really know how to work with powders well. And then it gets to stay, so you don't have to like dust it off or anything. So I just tap it into my skin, and you do want to make sure that you're melting it into your skin. Don't just let like it sit like heavily under there. And I would just do this to all the areas that I like normally would like put my concealer. So I'm putting it under my eyes. I'm going to put some like on my nose, especially like just like right here on my nose, because that's where I get really oily. And then also like around, I look crazy, y'all, I know, but trust the process. And especially like around my mouth. This also helps corrects my tone also, so that makes it very helpful. And I don't have to like use like a really heavy concealer or a lot of concealer or something like that, because I did this. Now, always make sure you're doing this part with a dry beauty blender. If you do it with a wet beauty blender, it can come off patchy because like it sticks to like the water and it just gets weird. So that is like one of my favorite like tricks. So next we're gonna move on to the foundation. I'm still big on the skin tint, even in the winter. And even if you use this technique, you don't need a lot of like coverage, even if you're like a big like full coverage person. But the skin tint is great for people who aren't like really skilled with the makeup, because sometimes you can either add too much, it can look too heavy, you can have too much of the wrong color. I always tell people, anytime somebody asks me about makeup, I always say, like, let the people at, like, Ulta and Sephora do their job. They have tools that will help you match your skin tone. No matter what you think it is, just get a second opinion if you know that you're not 100% sure. So I do the setting powder on top, under the skin tint, and this is kind of like... It's literally insane, the shit that is going on around me right now. It's like nobody wants me to be great, and I'm really sad about that. But we're gonna continue. Yeah, at the foundation. Now, for beginners, I always recommend using your foundation with, or applying your foundation with, a beauty blender, because it's so much more user friendly. But as far as this, because it's so light, I do like to keep as much product on as possible. So I use a brush. This is a Morphe E63 brush. I really love this foundation brush. I'm obsessed with it. It came with a beauty blender, and it's literally my favorite beauty blender ever. So if you need it, I will show you, tell you, put it in the description below. Y'all know what I'm saying? Okay, so, you know, just go ahead and do normal and spread that foundation. Y'all know how to do this. Now, I will say, when you do have the setting powder under it, you would think, like, as cakey as it looked before I put my foundation on, you would think that it would make your foundation look really cakey, but it doesn't. See, it kind of melts in with the setting powder, and it doesn't look bad, versus, you know, putting it on top, because when you put it on top of your foundation, it sits there, which is why you need a lot of technique and skill to work with powders. But we're not trying to do the hard work. We cutting corners here, okay, guys? All right, so this next tip, I'm sure you've seen it all over TikTok, Instagram. It's this new trend of lifting under eye highlight, and I am obsessed with it. Like, I usually don't follow trends, but this one is like my favorite thing ever. And it is like really good for beginners because you use so little product. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna add highlight or concealer to the inner corner of your eye. And I usually like stop where you see like my eyeball, I'll start right there. So that's kind of like my line. I don't know. Everybody has an eyeball in the center of their eye, so that's easy to follow. And then I take from where the eyeball is on the other side, and I start and I lift up, like going towards your eyebrow, and just add that in there. You don't need a lot. You don't need to bring it all the way down. You don't need to do anything crazy. Just put it right there. Literally, like, the easiest. You don't have like a shit ton. Sorry, excuse me. You don't have a bunch of like concealer like everywhere. It's not gonna drown out your face. And usually, like, sometimes if you try to do like the little trends and stuff like that, like the little shapes and everything, it just becomes too much, and then you have too much makeup on, and it looks bad. I also just take the applicator and I go down the bridge of my nose, just literally the width of the applicator. And then I don't know if you can see like how it's this little spot, like I guess where my forehead sticks out the most, and you can see it's like a little bit light here, and it just naturally like looks like that. So that's my guide to where to put my concealer on my forehead. And then I just don't do too much. I do like a little moon crescent shape and then kind of like bring it down. Looks like a T, right? I do one line down my chin and a one line down, you know, in front of my lip, right? So the key is to I always do like concealer that is maybe just one shade lighter than me, if that, and contour that's one shade darker. Not a super dark contour, not a super light concealer. A variant between the three, between your foundation that's your skin tone, the concealer that's one shade lighter, and the contour that's one shade darker, and then the concealer and the contour kind of meet each other, so then they're like 2 shades apart, and it turns out to be perfect. So don't go too light and don't go too dark. I take my Fenty foundation shade and I get the matching number concealer. Another tip, if you want to just be fancy with the contour, I always take, I don't know if you see this shadow and this dip, this is where my contour is. If you want to do something that makes it sharper, I put a line of concealer right under that. That is what makes your contour look super sharp. As far as blending, I have my beauty blender. This is my Morphe beauty blender. It's literally the best thing since sliced bread. I love it so much. Always know, like, you don't like get a beauty blender too damp. You do it just enough that it's like damp and it can move some stuff. So when it comes to blending out my concealer, I try to just blend in the direction of what I placed it. So just like how it's going down and go up, like blend in like a Nike swoop. And you don't want to bring it down too much. The whole point is you want everything to be lifted. So you want to bring it up like around your eyes. Make sure you're getting all the dark circles and stuff. And it's blending out enough, but then you want to blend up. So I'm going to show y'all if y'all didn't get that, you know. So I'm taking it. I'm going down a little bit. Going across. Then going up. And then you just do that until you can't really see any lines for where your concealer was. Don't bring it all the way down like this. You honestly just bringing it around your eye into that gap that you didn't put concealer in, and then bringing it up. All right, so now for this little section right here, you want to blend this kind of straight and down, not down too far, but you want, if you're gonna blend it, you blend it down more than you would blend it up, because you don't want it to cover that area where you're gonna contour. You want it to sit right under there, and you want it to look like when you contour, your face is just like a really snatch. Like, you see that line, it just makes it look like, right? Like, I just got this sharp cut in my face. Y'all gonna see when I put this contour on, y'all gonna see what I'm talking about. Okay. All right, so for my chin, I like to keep the chin kind of, I just use like the straight part and just keep it right in this little circle, you know, like the point of your chin. Same for the upper lip, you know, you just want to hit it right at the cupid's bow where the light is going to hit it, but you don't want to put too much on there because then, you know, it just starts looking weird. And for your nose, it is very important to kind of like really keep it controlled. What I like to do is I take the front of the tip of this beauty blender and I kind of squeeze it in a little bit. That way I am not, you know, really blending out the concealer too much. You're just kind of pressing it into your skin, but you want it to stay in that line. You know, I've never really had to like explain my technique and what I'm doing. It's really hard. In case y'all were wondering, it's like, what is she talking about? Y'all try to explain some stuff that you do naturally every day. It ain't easy, but I'm trying. Okay, so next you're going to do kind of like the same like you did the chin, but just a little more, a little wider. So I do want to just keep it in this little crescent circle. So do little circles around and then just bring it down into your nose like a triangle, you know? Like, look at that. Look at that. Already looking snatched, but we ain't done yet. Okay, now for the contour, we're gonna kind of basically do the same as we did with the concealer, but I'm gonna show you all the sweet spots. I have this defining line that's in my face, like where the shadow hits, kind of like where your cheekbone structure is. So I take my contour and I do kind of like a straight line, and it kind of like aligns with the outside of my eye. That's how far out I go, and I bring it back, and then I'll kind of widen it towards my hairline, like a little bit wider, but I don't want it too much product right in here, because then it'll like take over your face. Next, I am going to put contour right around my hairline. This kind of just makes your forehead look smaller. I have a bit of a forehead, so this kind of just, you know, shadows. Y'all know how shadows work. Yeah, I take my contour and I do right around my jawline, and this kind of slims your neck a little bit. It slims your chin. It makes your face look a lot slimmer and more snatched. And then I do the same for my chin. So I do kind of just do like a parentheses around the area that you put concealer in. That makes the chin look a bit sharper. We don't want too sharp, but we want it sharp. I usually go from the inside of my eyelid and just follow it all the way down and around for my nose. The nose is very tricky, but I would just follow like the natural shape of your nose, and it makes it so much easier. Like where that bone is right there, just follow that. You feel me? All right, so now that you have laid your contour and all the sweet spots, then you do exactly what you did for the highlight. You going to take this section and you're gonna blend it up, because those shadows make your face look lifted. It makes your face not sag more. It makes it not look as round or plump, or, you know, if you're looking for that slimming snatch face, this is the way. This is the key here. And then we're gonna take this contour that is on our chin and we're gonna blend it down towards the neck to make, you know, to keep your neck from looking like a completely different color from the rest of your face. You know, no matter how great your foundation is, you can still tell. I'm just gonna let you know. So blend that contour down into your neck, make it look seamless. And then just blend in that crescent shape that you place the contour in. And as far as your forehead contour, I start from the edge and I blend back into my hairline. And that makes it look a little bit more seamless. You see how it just kind of like, this side of my face just looks like slim and lifted and just great, and this side just kind of looks weird. And for our nose, again, I'm gonna take the tip and squeeze it. Y'all see how dirty my nails are? That's gross. And squeeze it and just kind of just follow the line, and just, you're not so much blending it in inwards or outwards, you're more so just melting it in the place that it's into your skin. And it's okay if it gets into your eyelid, because it kind of just makes, I don't know, it just contours your face very well. Okay, so if you want just really simple, going somewhere really quick, you can stop right there with the face. But if you are trying to do like a all day, like it's gonna last a long time, I would suggest setting your face. And so what I do, instead of using like really heavy setting powders like the one that I used before, or loose pigment powders, I use very much lighter powders. But the key is, when you want long lasting makeup, you do liquid first and then you put the powder on for like the finishing touches. I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation. And I know that nobody ever uses this little sponge that comes into powder foundations, but this is the time. So I just take a little bit, this little sponge, and just tap it. Don't rub it. I just tap it into there. And then I literally just press it into my under eye. And then I'm going to take the Morphe Face and Body Bronzer in the color Leader, and I'm going to go over everywhere that I contoured. And lastly, I take a big fluffy brush and I go back into that foundation and I just apply that all over my face. So now that my face is looking all seamless and stuff like that, I'm going to take the Makeup Revolution Blush Reloaded in the color Rose Kiss. And I take it, and the key is never to add it right to the ball of your cheeks, because that's when it just kind of looks clownish, you know? So I take it and I always start, because you want to have the most product like in the upper part of your face. So I start from right here and I go down with it, and I do smile, so you can barely have it like right there, but you want the majority of the product up here where your contour and your highlight is. All right, guys, so now we're about to snatch these eyes, and I know everybody's big issue is with eyeshadow. It's so hard to make it look so seamless and effortless. But I'm gonna show you like the best ways to do a bomb ass neutral eye look that would look like it's difficult, but it's really just like so easy. I got y'all. So the eyeshadow palette that I'm going to be using is the KB Cosmetics. This is the Day and Night. I don't know if you can see it. It's the Day and Night eyeshadow palette. I have used this before and I use a lot more colors, but now we're going to do it simply neutral, because neutral is always a go. It works with every kind of look and it's the easiest to do. So my go-to is like this cut crease, like beautiful look, but it's not as hard as you think. So you're gonna start with a neutral color that is closest to your skin tone. This one is kind of like the closest one in this palette, so I am going to use this, and you're just going to take it like just, you know, rub your brush into your palette, and you're gonna apply this all over your lid. I suggest like a big fluffy eyeshadow brush because it's easier to apply it all over your lid like seamlessly. And this is the Morphe by Jaclyn Hill JH30 brush. And so I just swipe and just, when you got good brushes, it's easy to do this, but I always you just easily like take it all the way over your lid, all the way out. So when I apply eyeshadows, I always kind of pull my eyeshadows out a little bit past my eyebrow. That just gives my eyes more of a lifted look. If you don't like that, you don't have to. All right, now that you've done that, next you just take a dark brown, a chocolate color. I am going to use this one, and you're going to do the exact same. So easy, just cover your eye with it. When you do your entire eye with a lighter brown first and then the chocolate color, what it does is that it melts it in a little better, and it gives it that kind of like, not ombre, but just seamless effect that it doesn't look too much. All right, now we're 75% there. Okay, 50. So it's gonna be so easy. So next we're gonna do like a cut crease, and I know that like I have cut crease. I know that sounds intimidating, but it's really not. So before you actually put any product on it, I would suggest you take a flat brush and you feel like where your eyeball is and where your eyeball like dips into it. So you can usually feel it like where your eyeball is right there. That's where you're going to put the concealer at. And so I usually take an applicator. You can always use a brush. Brushes are so much easier. I just like to be difficult. And I would take little strokes or dots or whatever and stick it into where you felt your your eyeball. And this is going to be like the outline for your cut crease. And then afterwards, with your brush or your applicator, you can just kind of smooth out that area and make it to a nice little crescent. And it's just like following the dots. Like you just make the outline, and then you can bring it, over and bring it down, which is the easy part, into where you want to stop. So I usually because my eyes are smaller, I usually half cut creases because they kind of make my eye appear a bit bigger. But you can do a full one and you can bring it all the way down if you want. So the key to making this successful is to make sure that your concealer dries down first. All right, so now that my concealer is dry, I am going to go back in with this palette. I am going to take the lightest color in the palette, which is going to be this color, Naked. And I am going to apply that on top of my concealer. And all you're gonna do is just take that brush and just basically just spread it on top of the whole area that the concealer was in. All right, I got a little heavy-handed on this eye, but it is okay. So next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take that eyeshadow brush that you did your dark eyeshadow on. You don't have to put any product on it, but it's probably gonna still be some product left on it. You're gonna go towards the edge of where that concealer ended, and then you're just gonna blend. Like you're literally just gonna swipe side to side and then pull it out. That way your dark eyeshadow, you're not putting too much dark eyeshadow on it, but it is blending and mixing with your light eyeshadow. And you can do this on both. If your brush is just like completely like productless, you can always dip your brush in there, just in the eyeshadow just a little bit, but you don't have to do much. But that way it makes you look like you're a blending god. You see how easy that was? And you added no product. You just started from the edge, and you will always see the edge because it was concealer on top of it. So you can see where that harsh line is, and you just take your brush and swipe and then pull it out. And boom, it looked like you just did like a whole 30-minute eyeshadow look with just 3 different colors. Not a lot of blending. So simple. All right, so next we're gonna do our eyeliner. And with our eyeliner, I know I see a lot of people that start and like from here and they go around and then they connect the end, and can't do it. Cannot do it. So this is my way of doing eyeliner. Do whatever it makes you comfortable, but that way just doesn't make me comfortable. I personally feel like felt tip liners are a lot easier to control, and they're a lot like easier to get like a really crisp line. So what I normally do is I start from the corner of my eye and I just make a line straight out. And then I take that liner and I start from the tip of that line that I just went in, and I go diagonally down towards the lid of my eye. So I go from here and go straight down to the lid of my eye, right? So now I have this little isosceles triangle on my eyelid, and then I just fill that portion in. Next, I am going to now go from the corner of my eye, and I usually want to go as thin as possible, literally as close as you can get to the lash line. Get that close, and if you want more, you can always make it thicker. So I start from the inside, go and do a straight line across my lash line and connect this line to that line that I just did. That way, it's like it goes thinner, and you get to choose how thick you want it up here. So that's my way. I feel like it makes it a lot simpler, but you know, like I said, do what's comfortable for you when it comes to liner, because I know it's difficult for a lot of people. It used to be for me, for sure. All right, now that we got the liner, we are going to do our lips, which I am going to use my Sephora Rouge Gel Lip Liner and this Lime Crime Liquid Lipstick in the color Buffy, and a simple gloss that I just saw and I can't find. Oh, found it. It is this KAB Cosmetics. Is the same as the eyeshadow palette I use, and it is a lip oil. It's not actually blue. It's clear, but it looks blue in the container. I don't know. So everybody knows like the big thing is the ombre lip glam, and I am going to show you how to get that. You're going to start by slightly overlining your lips. And when I say that, is that you see how like when your lips, like, well, at least my lips, you see the dark part, which is my lip, and you kind of see this little it looks like a little shadow outline, or it's kind of like a raised area. I would start in that area for where you want to line your lips, because you don't want too much liner on the center, but you still want enough, if that makes sense. I don't know, y'all. Watch me, y'all. So we're going to take it, and we're not going to overline it too much, but we're going to make sure we're in that little area right there. You see how you don't see it anymore because it's covered in brown? Yeah, that's what you want to do. And you're going to do that all the way around. So basically, you're just lining outside the lines instead of inside the lines, okay? You feel me? And next, what you're going to do, now, you can do one of two things. You can either blend down your lip liner by just rubbing your lips together, or you can blend it down with a brush. I usually end up, when I do it with my lips together, it usually ends up getting too deep into there, and then my lip looks just end up being brown lips. So I do mine with a brush, and I just slightly take that liner and blend it down just a little bit and blend it into my lips, so it looks not as harsh of a line, but you do see that liner. And then I'm going to take my liquid lipstick, and you want to be very light with this because you don't want the lipstick to be overbearing. So I usually take it at right in the center, right there, and up top, and then you kind of just, you know, mash your lips together. So this is what gets the little ombre together, but really what melts it and makes it look flawless and seamless, the construction, y'all, it got my head going crazy, is the lip gloss. The lip gloss is what blends the lipstick together. So if you're trying it and you're like, it looks weird and I don't like it, and then you wipe it off before you put the lip gloss on, don't do that, because y'all gonna see in a second. And it's not a special way you put the lip gloss on like you would normally put lip gloss on, but it's going to melt the two colors together. And we got us a nice ombre brown nude lip. All right, so I am now about to go off camera and apply some lashes. I am going to be using the Lava Lashes Flirty Lash Set. These are really, really pretty. I just wore them to a wedding this past weekend. Comes in this nice little box. I did get this from BoxyCharm and I love it. But I'm going to go off camera and apply these lashes, and then I will come back to you guys with the final look. Okay guys, so this is the final look. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I appreciate you for sticking it through with the construction and the garbage trucks and all the other that's been going on around my apartment. But as always, I hope you enjoy. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, you know, all that good stuff, but only if you want to. No pressure. And as always, make sure you stay happy, healthy, and hydrated, and I will see you guys in my next video.